In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our divine reminder and warner that's in our midst. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jock Brothers Presents Let Us Make Man, a podcast of brothers that desires nothing more than show you what a positive man of God should be. For we all are family men who love our children. We all are businessmen. We all are youth mentors. And we all work hard in our communities to make it a decent and safe place to live. When putting this podcast together, we decided to govern our actions by three rules. One was to put God first in all that we do. Two was to present content to podcasts that can make you a better you. And three, to showcase brotherhood and unity amongst men that you can be proud of. My name is Brother Kawi Muhammad. I'll be your host and moderator for the night. I'm a brother that's very interested in the root of things, the beginnings, motivations, and inspirations. And so I hope you enjoy those lines of questioning. Let's get to the other host of the pot of the Jock Brother. Brother, I want to introduce born and raised in Orlando, Florida. This brother here is a just an intricate part of the Jock Brothers and a natural born leader. He's now putting Traveler under his name. I'm talking about my brother, Jackie Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Jock Nation, we have another exciting show for you tonight. We're dealing with safety. We're dealing with security. We're dealing with awareness. We're dealing with focus. So we want you all to tune in tonight because we have as you can see with the climate, we have something coming up and we need to be prepared. And
right.
we are here with two gentlemen, two men of God who is able to help us prepare ourselves to face whatever it is that we have in front of us.
On,
so we want to pay special attention to this because as men, our job, our duty is to protect our family. So we definitely want to tune in to tonight. And if you have any questions, any concerns, please voice your questions and concerns, and we'll do the best we could to get those questions or concerns over to these brothers. So thank you for tuning in tonight, Jock Nation. Back to you, Copy.
Praise be to Allah. And the next brother, I know he don't like me saying this, but he is the son of one of the great FOI in the history of New York. And he don't like to lean on that. He's trying to make his own name. An international traveler, the producer of the Jock Brothers, my brother Ahmed. Yeah.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah.
Son of Richard 8X. Yeah, that's right.
In the name of Allah, beneficent and merciful, we thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us tonight. I'm your brother Ahmed. We are the Jock Brothers. You can find us at Jock Brothers, JAKQ, Jock Brothers, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Our website is jockbrothers.com. You can also forward any information that you may have to help the show at Jock Brothers Viewers at gmail.com, Jock Brothers Viewers at gmail.com. And you can also support the platform by sending any contributions to $ Jock Bros, the Cash App, $ Jock Bros. We also have a prison initiative where we're pushing to get the baddest, boldest, Black-owned newspaper, the final call to our brothers and sisters that are incarcerated. If you want to help that initiative, please send any information about any family members or friends who you may know that are incarcerated. Send their information to jockbrothersviewers at gmail.com, jockbrothersviewers at gmail.com, and any financial support in that area, as well as the Cash App, $ Jock Bros, $ Jock Bros. Thank you all for all your help and support. Back to you, Brother Kawi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's get on with the show. First brother I want to introduce, he's no stranger to the Jock brother. Matter of fact, brother was on the show a couple of weeks ago, kind of hitting on the same subject. This brother has been in the Nation of Islam since 1990 and held almost all positions that you could think of in the Muslim leadership position. Right now, he's serving as captain in Kansas City. He's 32 years as a martial arts student, mostly under the Grand Master that you see right now. With no further ado, I want to introduce our brother, Calvin.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Thank you, brothers.
Thank you.
I know your opening words are going to be short, brother. With no further ado, everybody know this guy. Everybody know this guy here. What you didn't know about him, even though he did most of his service out of New York and now in Chicago, this humble brother was born in Montgomery, Alabama. Who would have ever thought?
Oh, Southern.
Mobile,
Alabama. Yeah, he's been in and around the Nation of Islam all of his life. As a matter of fact, he attended the University of Islam at an early age. At an early age, he also started training in the arts. And since then, he has reached heights that I don't even think he believes or can fathom that he has reached. He currently serves as the Assistant Supreme Captain in the Nation of Islam. He currently is a student of the great Dr. Moses Power and is, I guess, the leader of VSQ, the arts. And I'm saying that right?
VSK.
VSK.
I'm doing it off memory. My apologies, sir.
But no, you just wanted to be in there too, brother Kawi. You want
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With no further ado, the Grand Master, the Assistant Supreme Captain of the Nation of Islam, our brother, Abdul Aziz Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Sir.
I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to come back on to your show and so that we could share some more information. And I really appreciate you all's work and what you're doing. And I pray, Allah, that you all continue to be successful and gain even greater heights. I did want to mention something that is in the martial arts, in the Nation of Islam. It is really the best title that we can have that's actually added to that Assistant Supreme Captain piece. And what that is student Assistant Supreme Captain. And I say that because it is so beautiful to be a student. See, we in the martial arts, we have no problem, ever had a problem in addition that was placed on us to say that you're a student Assistant Supreme Captain, because we know in the art you should always maintain your status as a student. So that's big for us. You know, we don't ever want to find ourselves thinking that we're greater than we really are. So that student lets you, it's actually a protection for us. Is a protection so that as long as you're a student, you know, you can, there's some measure of mistake, or not even mistake, but not being the best that you can be. And it gives us room to make sure that we can become better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excellent teaching. Excellent point.
Thank you for that, sir. Should I say student grandmaster? I'm just joking.
No, you in truth, see that's really so beautiful, because as a grandmaster, can just think about this. This is something that I have been in a position, and it feels so. I feel so undeserving when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan calls me Grand Master,
Yes, sir.
I feel so small. And when I say that, because there is no grander master than him. And for him to call me such is to say, well, you better check your own thinking, man.
Yeah.
And make sure that you, as a grand master, you better submit to the real teacher, and that's him. So as a student grand master, that I can stand with that.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, that takes a lot of pressure off, brother.
That's right.
You know, Brother Aziz, knowing that you're, realizing that you're born in Alabama now, looking at, how you travel, you was raised in New York, you're now in Chicago. That's a serious, that's like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad when you look at it, being born in the South and then raised in the North and then teaching in the North, so many different variables. I don't detect any Southern, in you. I'm usually good with that, but I don't detect that at all. So I'm wondering, because even when you deal with us, you have a way of dealing with the brothers in particular, that's cordial. Being from the South, we're very conscious of when we deal with brothers from the North. That's just a natural, it's something there, But I'm just wondering, in your makeup, how does that, how do you, move around, or is that something that's on your mind? Are you conscious of that? When you're moving around, when you're dealing with brothers, does it help you in a sense when you're traveling, as you're dealing with brothers around? Does that, moving around, being from the South, living in the North, does that help you deal with brothers? Does that help you in what you do?
Well, I have to say this, that I owe my life to the Nation of Islam. To the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I owe my life, and what they gave me, and it's not just me. They gave it to all of us, especially coming up as youth, and see, when you come in and you're older, you sometimes carry on your customs, right? The customs. See, so if you develop customs in the South, you may carry your customs around with you, even though you come into the Nation of Islam. Well, what the nation gave to me in terms of what you're mentioning, it gave me that there is no place in anywhere where I can say that I'm from. I'm from the earth that is 196,940,000 square miles. So what happens is Islam has made me to see my brothers in every location.
Come on, man.
So I don't have any customs that is going to be different. So yes, I have studied the customs of the South, and you always hear Southern hospitality. Right. Southern hospitality. Well, the Nation of Islam teaches us how to be hospitable.
Right.
Because I'm from the South, but because I am from Islam, I'm a member of this nation, and we are all one.
Right.
So so that is really where I get it from. And I can't say that my mother did not, something didn't rub off on me. I love the South. I love the South and our people in the South. And but I'm telling you, when we were growing up, our look, when you see what we wore back in the day, you'll find that we're not far off of right now. We didn't have the super bell bottoms. We didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? Even in its time, the super afro.
Come on.
It's time. So the most honorable Elijah Muhammad kept us being as one all over the planet.
Right.
Everywhere we were looking the same. So, so that's what I would say to that. I'm thankful to Allah. I was blessed to be born in the South, and I was blessed to be raised in the North, but not just in the North under the man who was, the image of the one we stood and believed in. We still believe it, but he's still the standard bearer, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So he's the one I owe all of whatever I have to. I owe it to him.
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
So briefly, Grandmaster, my brother Captain Kevin, just give us a brief history of the national training, and then we'll get into the next training. Just trying to set everything up.
Yes, sir. Well, for me, and of course, I have to let Brother Calvin actually, go through it as well, because he was there with me in the beginning. He was a younger man, but he was there in the beginning of our first event in 1996. So, but how did it begin? Well, it began, like I said, I owe it to the minister. I would not have been thinking in this way until he said, and he didn't ask me. I think he did, because the minister's always gracious in that way. But he said he wanted me to be the national trainer, and then from that point, it was, what am I going to do? Not, he didn't say this. It was for me now to say, well, what am I going to do if the minister wants me to do something in that way? Well, did a book come with it? No book came with it. What came with it is just the desire to want to do some things. And I came to Chicago in 95 when I bought my house then. And then from 95, it was just before the Million Man March. And coming in from that, we went straight over to the Million Man March, had a wonderful time. And then I wanted to do something to bear witness to that training or to the request. So I said, I have to do something now. Okay, well, what did we do? We began to build or set up a training. Very, very humble beginnings. I don't know if it was more than 20 of us. There is a picture that shows, for the most part, everybody. But in that picture, I don't know if it was more than 20. Was it maybe 18, 15? I don't know.
It wasn't over 20.
It wasn't over 20. And it was only men at the time. And from that event, I actually combined the national training with the nation, and I did a seminar, a training seminar where Dr. Moses Powell was present and Soke Little John Davis was present, and we had this event, and they were my highlights. Of course, Dr. Moses Powell was the highlight. He's everybody's teacher right there. So we had him, and that became the first event. And we put that on. My wife and I worked on it, and she was the only sister in the training. And she taught report writing in that how to write a report, because she was a captain in the Department of Corrections. And that's where I had met her. And from there, so I had her involved because she had a skill. So she was the first sister in the training and an instructor as well.
Not to digress from the national trainer, Dr. Moses Powell.
Yes.
And I was one day at work, I was just messing around, and I just said, let me look him up a little bit. I saw him. I noticed when you train, you put I guess you take people to the point of pain where they start tapping. But it looked like he was really putting it on real quick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, sir.
so my question is that, was that you, the one that was I mean, how thick was he putting that pain on you?
Well, it was thick enough to make me tap like I was tapping. And if it was under any other circumstance, I probably would have been yelling. But we maintain our integrity on that.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, okay. We can go deeper off the camera. Yeah. So let's get to the national training. I know now 2022 is 2023 now. The climate's a little different. What are you giving us this year with the national training that you didn't give us last year?
Well, I won't say that everything that you had last year you're not going to see again. It's just going to be done in a different way. It's going to be presented maybe by others. It's always to be heightened, but you're going to get a number of things. There are some things that you're going to get that's going to be different. But it's like the teachings, like the minister when he is moving from one location to the next. Now, it doesn't mean that he's going to teach something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to teach something. He's going to teach the same thing in a different way for us to capture something that we missed. Wow. So that is definitely what some of what's going to happen, brother. Now we can call him Captain Calvin, or we can call him Sensei Calvin. Would you like to say something?
Yes, sir. You know, Jim, you can call me whatever you want to call me. And I gotta say, brother, it just how this show has started. That's why I said very few words in the beginning, because I wanted to get right to Grandmaster, and just the way that the show has started has really set the tone that only really he could set by the grace of Allah. And when it comes to the national training, as Grandmaster said, and always keep in mind that he is Grandmaster in the sense of he's a teacher, a martial artist. And if you train in the martial arts, no matter what level you're at, you're going to come to class and you're going to do some drills. And those drills that you're going to do, they may be the same drills. If you've been in the martial arts 40 years, it may be the same drills you started off doing, but they have to stay sharp, because if that foundation doesn't stay sharp, then it messes with the integrity of your overall technique. And so I say that because the national training has staples. There are certain things that we're going to get every year at the national training, because in warfare, if you're not in a constant battle,
come on,
so if you learn how to shoot, or if you're a tank driver, if you're not in a constant battle, then what your skill set can degrade, right? And so what a military does to keep that skill set from degrading is they run drills. And so with the national training, we have things like the DPU, which is the Dignitary Protection Unit. There's a foundational set of skills that you need to have for that. And every year we're going to revisit those, but we're going to build on those. We have things like the motorcade. There's a set of skills that you have. There's some foundational skills that you need to have for the motorcade. But if you don't have those basic skill sets right, when they bring upgrades like the motorcade brought with the arrival of technology and GPSs, because we didn't have all that when the national training came.
Right.
And so, but you had to have that foundation of how to operate a vehicle, your awareness and everything like that, in order to get to the point where you learn how to operate a vehicle with a principle that might be being tracked, if you understand what I'm saying. And so we have those foundational principles that we always have and always upgraded. But this year, one of the things that I have to say that Grandmaster does is he always takes his point from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So as a student, as he said, of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he listens to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and whichever way the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is taking his guidance, he's going to make sure that the national training follows that lead. So this year when we're dealing with safety, and if you all heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on where his concern was as far as our houses of worship, as far as what we need to do with the mosque and security, we're going to be heavy on those topics. And so that's just an idea of how the national training always evolves, but yet we keep our basic skill set.
I wanted to say something on Kawhi's question as well, because it brought something to my mind, Grandmaster, that I don't think everyone's aware that from one training all the way to the next year, you're on details, you're on assignments almost every day, almost every week. You're consorting with security, government officials, law enforcement. They're coming up with new tactics and nuances, city codes and laws from 365 days back to a whole new training. You have built up all new information that you bring to the table. He just made me think about that.
Yes, sir. All praises are due to Allah. Yes. I mean, there are various things that we have to contend with and deal with. And in truth, our own personal issues, when I say personal, our own nation-related issues and how we have to interact with other individuals from our community and so forth, it is enough to work with us to get more than what you're getting, even when you're talking about government and so forth. It's a great piece and a great part of the training that we have. But man, it's how you handle your own people, how you handle your own brothers and sisters in the nation as well as outside. That's something that's very, very important, and we get a lot from that. Many brothers, and I don't, know or talk with the sisters in this way, but in terms of the brothers, many of us don't even understand what we're learning by dealing with our own people. You can go into industry and we don't even know that when we go in, we may be talking or thinking like someone who is not skilled, like you don't have a title in anything. So your job that you go for is something that is based on how you see yourself. So if you don't see that working with people and how you have to handle people, and especially an officer, a lieutenant or a captain, that is huge in terms of what we have been put in a position to have to deal with. Right. So it's big. I'll tell you this, and this was after the nation had fell. There was, I was looking for a job, young. Okay, I'm young, and because when the nation fell in '75. I was 16 prior to July. So I was 16 during that Savior's Day and 17 after in July. So, this was during a time, I'm young. Well, what have I done? I worked in your Black Muslim Bakery, #1, and #2. I worked in the meat market, that was on 116th Street as well, so you find yourself worked in the steak and takes out there. So, I did that, but there was a period when everything pretty much started going its own way, and I went my way. You found ourselves out just doing whatever we needed to do. So I went to this job, and it was actually sales, right? And this sales, it was like they would give you, it was this costume jewelry nice. You know how women like that stuff and all of that. Well, it was, you had to go there and apply for the job. It was something that was in the newspaper. Now I'm maybe 17, and I go to get this job and see about a job. And well, I went in there. They had people sitting down. They were writing, their information down. And when I wrote did my application, they were going to have you go through some other training. When they saw what I wrote, the owner of the company, which was a young white fella, called me. They called me into a special meeting on the side, took me away from the preparation. He said, you have here that you sold Muhammad Speaks newspapers. I put that down. I had nothing. He said, you sold Muhammad Speaks newspapers? How are you doing? Did you do well? I said, yes, I sold this number of papers. And he said, well, if you sold this paper, if you sold that paper that you're telling me that you did, you don't even need to worry about going into any more of this training. Set him up. They told their people to set him up, give him his thing, and go ahead on out and do your thing. Now that's because that's what I had, and I used and said what I had.
Right.
They looked at what I had stronger than I thought about it.
Right.
Was just all I had.
Right.
The only job I could say I had, and they took me and just sent me off on my way as a youngster who could have just taken their stuff and just left and gave me that job.
Yes.
So I don't understand what we get when we're dealing with men and each other. And we can say that we have handled this and we have handled security and you can say so much, but we don't believe in what we have been given.
Man, I'm glad you said that, Brother Cap, because these brothers could tell you, brother, I walk, I walk with that on my shoulders. Like the training that we get in the Nation of Islam is unmatchable.
That's right.
Unmatchable. And even if you just go to the basic search and you watch a police officer search somebody, you look at him, you like, man, that's the weakest search I ever see. But we're so skilled and so how important is it even as a fighter that your foundation is even if you're not skilled in all the current moves, but if your foundation is perfect, how important is that? Getting your foundation perfect, bro.
Beautiful. I mean, that's a wonderful question because I am that's my forte. I keep the students in a foundational training. I am, I'm going to be more, I can work on or teach the foundation of the training and make those who feel and know they are elevated in the training and make a black belt look at what is going on and learn from something that will be normally taught to white belts.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because it's so much in the basics. The minister, that's what does he teach us? He's always taking us to the word, the study that has been given to us, the basics.
Basics. Come on.
The basics. We try to get elevated and want to be scientists when the minister's going to bring us back, give us something so basic in terms of it. And you wonder, why didn't I know? I should have known that. That is it's so simple in the way it sounds. Well, the reality is that we don't study the basics like we should.
So that's the expectation of the training. They don't come here thinking that, okay, what's new? We come to perfect in our basic training. And
yes,
sir.
Yes, in fact, we are going to deal with a basic. See, but the beauty is that it's how you bring understanding to that. You see, so it doesn't have to come out in the same way. You bring it in a way that is like new, but it is still giving and focusing on the foundational principles of what it is that we're studying.
Yes, sir. Brother Calvin, you have something, brother.
I'm really just bearing witness to everything Grandmaster is saying, and I can tell you as a student of his since 1996, there has been moments I've lost count where I was doing something very basic, and at this point, even over 2 decades after training with him, I could be doing something that is very basic, that, as he said, something that you would teach somebody who's just coming into the door. And he still finds a way to elevate what I'm doing with the basics. And I say that because there's been times where, and this is my own mind thinking, that I'm learning something, a technique, and I believe that he can make an assessment. And I believe this happens at the national training, that he can make an assessment and say, okay, that's probably his capacity right now, but it's going to take him time to really grow into the fullness of that technique. So in the words, you're all right for now, but we're going to continue to work so I can continue to expand that basic movement for you. And I believe that's the same thing that happens at the national training. Because there's nobody who's come to the national training since it started and is tired of what is being taught. Yes, we run to the class just like it's our first time going in. And when we listen to it, it feels like the first time because we can, how it is if you've been reading The Message to the Black Man for a long time, and then you go through something, then you pick it up, you're like, man, I done read that 1,000,000 times, but it seems like the first time that I read it. And so I think a lot that he has that ability, because it's so much information that you get at the national training, you're not going to leave there expert. You really are going to have to stay in the training to involve in what we believe we know.
So I have a scenario. I just want to know, do you have any training set up for this? Now, there's been a lot of child trafficking. There's been a lot of sex trafficking, women just snatched up out the streets.
Yes.
And it seemed like it's the same setup every time, how they get taken. Do you have, I'm looking at the different trainings that you do you have a training set up to bring more awareness to not only the youth, but to the adults so they can protect themselves better?
Yes, sir. Well,
Okay.
Well, first of all, there's a sister, Danielle, who is a very experienced and focused on that situation. She does a lot of speaking on it. She's very much focused on eliminating child, human trafficking. So yes, we have that, but then also in the training, the physical training part, there is that focus and conversation that'll happen between various masters and the students that are going to be there. All that'll be present. So I want everyone to know, again, you can come very, very blank. You do not need to have any training, none. The majority, 99% of those who come have no real training. So you can come and get it. The only trouble that you'll have is the trouble of yourself. If you don't get on the map, if you don't put yourself in the line of training, then you do not get trained.
Yes.
Read. So if you don't make him read, if you don't make him study, then we're just not going to study. The minister speaks in Closing the Gap. He talks about change, the most consistent thing in our life is change. Change is going to happen. But what is looked for in that is that when you change, he says, when you get to a point and you study a particular level of knowledge and you become comfortable in that knowledge, you then have a level of ease that come on you. So you gain ease after you come to a certain level of knowledge, and mastery. So what happens is if you now face another, if you face another challenge, you become troubled sometimes with that challenge. I don't want to do any more training. I may have been training at one point, but now I'm a little older and whatever. And now I don't want to do that again. Oh, well, how about newspapers? The Final Call. I used to sell Final Call. Now I'm an older person. So listen, let those younger brothers sell. Well, you got into a level of ease that you now do not want to face the next level of difficulty. But Allah desires for you to face it, because when you stop facing, or you don't face the difficulty that comes with change, then you don't grow, and it puts you in a position where you can now begin the process of dying.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna jump on the back of what Brother Kawi asked that question. To my question is, when men and women come to this training, and now you bring a sense of security and awareness, what is the message that you give them? I know to whom much is given, now much is required. What is our responsibility now once we're aware for not only ourselves, but our community at large?
Well, what is the duty of a civilized man? It's to teach the uncivilized. So whenever your thinking heightens, and you know that there are those who are not at that level, we are required to teach, to aid, to help those who are deprived of what it is that you have. So if we don't do that, then we fall victim to going against, the law that says that, if we are those who feel that we are not just knowledgeable, but we are civilized, and you don't teach the uncivilized to be civilized, then that takes something from you in terms of your civilization.
Come on now.
So it's important that whatever we have, we give it to those who need it. So I would just say that.
Yes, sir.
No, that's good, brother. Brother Abdul Aziz and Brother Calvin. You have the acronym SAFETY: security, awareness, focus, empowerment, training, and your survival. If you would, I want you to break that down for us. Security, awareness, focus. What does that mean?
Well, security is prevention. Okay. And in order to prevent something, you must be aware. You have to have the focus to understand what's in the environment. Now, if you don't know, there's a book called The Art of War. And in it speaks about knowing the terrain. The minister says it like this: the time and what must be done. You see, you got to know the time so that you can actually do what needs to be done based on the time.
Yes, sir.
So you get that by being focused and understanding what is going on around you. If you know that someone is out, you're walking down the street, you see what's happening where somebody is accosting someone else. If you continue moving in that way, or you see a group of people you that appears to be those that are looking for trouble. Now, if you continue walking in that way, either you're saying you really want to get in that trouble and give them something,
Right.
or saying that I'm walking and I just don't believe anybody's gonna mess with me.
Yes, sir.
It's one or the other. And we need to understand what is going on. So, but we got to be focused. We got to have, awareness when you're moving about. You can't be on your phone when you focus on security.
Right.
Yes, sir.
If your environment is not secure, and you get on your phone, then you're open to somebody surprising you.
Yes, sir.
You can't say you're in security or you're a fighter and get surprised. You should already know that they're out there waiting on you.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
So you're looking around the corner before you get to the corner. You're looking for someone to make a move. You're watching how they move. I'm sorry, I'm making it longer than I need to, but that's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
No, you're painting a good picture, and that's what we want to do. We want to definitely paint every scenario because we want to attract all the brothers and sisters to the national training.
That's right.
Empowerment. Let's continue empowerment, training, and your survival. Is that the final your survival?
Well, see, empowerment. That's very important now.
Yes,
Now, you empower people when you help them to raise up above the level in which they may have been on. You empower a man when you give him knowledge. When you present knowledge to that man, that once he gets knowledge, then he's obligated to do something and moved and inspired to do something different than the knowledge, than what he had prior to this knowledge that you give, you know? Of course, it's not you giving it, it's you delivering it. You know, our job is to deliver the dead to the Lamb of God so that the Lamb can do what he has his desire with them. So anyway, you want to empower those, and that's what our job is, to empower you with something that you didn't have, or empower you with something that you didn't get the first time. And now, just like when you read in the Quran, when you read the Quran, you get something different all of the time.
yes.
I know I do. I know when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I know I read this already, but it didn't have the same impact that I'm getting right now. Wow. And that's because we got to keep on studying. We got to keep on training. You can't go get training one time. Give me a course. I just want a course and I want to be with that. Well, okay, that's fine. But the question is, are you going to continue doing what you got in the course? That's the question. Are you going to build on that? So, no, everyone needs to come on out and participate in this training, because it's for you to gain another level of knowledge, to get something that you missed the last time. And there are many that have never been there. This is our 28th.
That's right.
But many haven't even been there.
Yes, sir.
You know, so come on. You need to just come on so we can help you out.
Right.
You know, I love this. This is what the Supreme Captain has said many times, and I love it every time. He said that we should pray to Allah, that we can become the men that we believe we are.
Yes, sir. So
That's strong now.
That's very strong. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Because it doesn't make you the king. You know what I'm saying? It keeps you a student. You know, so we should pray to Allah and ask him to bless us to become the men and women that are looking at this, that we believe we are.
yes, sir. So it's 8 o'clock hour. This is the time we break for a small commercial break.
Yes,
Brother Ahmed, take
Yes,
over.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Again, we'd like to thank you all for taking times out of your busy schedules and joining us tonight. Tonight we are giving attention to the international training. You see information. If you want information, we'll be posting some of the information. Oh, there it is on the screen right now. That's the website. If you want to go to it to get any information about the training, you can set up your hotels, start preparing your families, and getting your transportation together. You look at the website, and you can go on that website and get all the information you need. And please support for yourself and your family. You never know what situation you may be in. You can save your life and your family's life. Today we are the Jock Brothers. You can locate us at Jock Brothers on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Jock Brothers, JAKQ, Jock Brothers. Our website is www.jockbrothers.com. www.jockbrothers.com. You can send any information or anything that you want to give as far as information and support us at jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com, jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com. You can also support our prison initiative by sending information as we strive to get the baddest Black-owned newspaper, The Final Call, to our brothers and sisters that are incarcerated. You can also send any information of any friends and family that you want this information and truth to get to them as they continue to get their situation together behind bars, or in their state of rebuilding themselves. So we're sending the baddest, boldest Black-owned newspaper, The Final Call, to our brothers and sisters.
That's right.
You can support us by sending information to jockbrothersviewers@gmail.com, and any financial information in supporting everything that we're doing to the Cash App that you see scrolling at the bottom of the screen, $ Jock Bros. The Cash App as $ Jock Bros. We also want to give a special shout out to our brothers who are personally supporting with their businesses. Brother Kawi is our real estate guru. He can help you with buying a house or any rentals or any rental properties. You can contact him at any time at the phone number you see on the screen, 404-671-5681. 404-671-5681. If you find yourself looking for a home, or any family or friends that are looking for homes, please support Kawi, because Brother Kawi supports his community and his nation. Next, we have Brother Ahmed, myself. I'm a new author. Bilal and the Bullies, book for youth. And, anyone can learn from just reading about a situation where a young man was able to come into his own and deal with situation that he felt he had no control over. It's good to learn for the children. It's good for everyone to read it. You never know, like the brothers were saying earlier, about learning your foundation and your basics. So this story is just based on a basics of a young man coming into his own and dealing with a situation that he felt he wasn't able to control. Next, we have my brother. He is in charge, or he owns Supreme Waste Removal, a company where they drop dumpsters off for any of your building or any of your sanitation needs. He's able to pick up and remove dumpsters all around the city of Atlanta. So if you have any needs or any concerns that you may need consultation, you can give him a call, 404-957-7639, 404-957-7639, and I'm sure that he can help you in any situation you need as far as sanitation and removing debris or construction and things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brother Kawi. Back to you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you there, Brother Ahmed. Great job, brother. And it seemed like Bilal needed that national training. He wouldn't have been good.
We should have said,
We
need a sponsor. We need to get a sponsorship called the Bilal sponsorship for the national training. That's right, brother.
Yes, sir. So since we on Bilal, let's talk about the youth. I see you have a lot going on with the youth. Can you give us some of the programs, some of the conversations, topics that you will be discussing with the youth, and what they should get, or what you're trying to give them out of this training?
Yes, sir. In fact, Brother Calvin, there is actually something happening right now. So it's an awesome event. They're doing a Zoom, and it's all about the youth. So it's excellent. But Sensei Calvin, could you please share the youth piece?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And like Grandmaster said, I as a matter of fact, I tried to get some of the youth on tonight, but they're so busy preparing for the national training. I mean, you ought to see what the youth are preparing.
Right.
And one of the ways that the national training has evolved, when I came in as I was a teenager, it was just one division. Everybody did everything. And so, but you know, through the years, as we learn to kind of meet the needs of the entire nation, we now have some youth that are on fire. And along with what happens within the national training, we also have a category in which our younger adults and even some of the younger children now have a portion within the national training. You might not even see them in most of the national training because they have their own curriculum now. And they're learning things that we all wish that our children would have learned. They're learning, number one, there was even a workshop done on how being a youth in the Nation of Islam and trying to stay righteous in the current environment. And so they were getting advice and counsel on, you know, when they go to school or when you get ready to go to college, what are some of the things that you can ground yourself on? We're talking about sex trafficking, but they received in the past, they will receive information applicable to them as to what they need to watch out for, what they should do, how they can prevent themselves when we talk about awareness. They get financial training. You know, I mean, don't we all wish our children had some type of financial training?
Right.
You know, but they're starting young because financial training, one of the things that I learned at the national training is that when you start to bring on large amounts of debt, you become a security breach. Because now, you know, when you're around valuable things, now, you know, you're in the valley of decision as to what you're going to do. And so they get their financial training to ensure that they don't go into the valley of decision. They have members of the Nation of Islam's elite working directly with them on security training. I'm telling you, the youth, it's not something where you sometimes go and they prepare something for the youth and they have them playing video games. No, they are working. When they get to those hotel rooms at the end of the night, they sleep and they're getting up early in the morning because they're getting so much information in their workshops.
Yes.
I have a question with that because, like you said, brother, our youth is on fire, and I'm wondering if the parents can't come to the training, because I have been getting questioned. They want to send the youth. So is it set up? I don't want to put you on blast, but is it set up in a way where it will receive the youth without their parents? Like, say a 13-year-old soldier want to come, you know, maybe he can come with an uncle. But if the uncle is a captain or he's in that training, is it set up where it will receive the youth and then just guide him along the way where he needs to go? Is that possible? Is that something that we can do? Like send, you know, because I've been getting questions. Some parents want to send their sons and they've been asking, you know, who can they go with and whatnot. So I'm just trying to gather information.
Well, let me say this, that there's a couple of things going on there. See, the beautiful part that this is an event within our nation. Yes. All right. And what is beautiful about this is that this is our nation operating this. I'm not operating in just on my own. And, you know, we're a part of this. And this is the third largest event that our nation puts on. So I say that because we have a whole system of strength and management, which is in our captaincy, our lieutenants, so all they have to do is connect into the chain of command and communicate with the leadership to facilitate such. So it's not just in Chicago we're receiving children.
Yes.
No, it will be you linking with the leadership so that they can help provide such that will carry them all the way from home to that next location. So that has to be worked out
Absolutely.
in the regional areas and through the leadership of your regional captains.
Yes, sir. Excellent. Yes, sir.
Grandmaster, so the elderly, the pioneers, the ones that can't get around as good as they used to.
Yes.
Is there anything in terms of training that we could give them so they can protect themselves better? I mean, they already got the awareness. I don't want to say they live in fear, but they're very aware of their situations. But sometimes because they are elderly and can't move around well, they may get picked on anyway or tried anyway. Is there any training that's in place to try to help, prepare them to take care of themselves better?
Without a doubt, we don't turn our elderly down and away. No, they should participate. It is always going to be something for all of us, So see, someone just has to communicate, and I'll say this too: if you let your leadership know, that you're going and you need assistance in some area. In terms of the training, we will provide whatever it is that we know we need.
Yes,
so there is a general conversation and training for everyone they'll all fit in it. But if there are a number of elderly that are desirous, let your captains know and let them know that I said to let them know so that they can alert us.
Yes, sir.
Of what is that we should be expecting so that we will create.
Yes, sir.
Whatever's needed to support our people. There's no one that should be left out. We have the young adults that we've had, but we've added another component. First, we've added another component, and that is to be put in the training. We have the 8-year-olds to 12.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 8 to 12 now that are getting trained. Now they used to be some of them, depending upon the age and how they move, would be in the child care.
Mm-hmm.
Child care, there's something that's going to be, we're working with them, but not in a major training way. But now we have gotten we got the child care, those that are very young, that we're going to have somebody handling them and working with them so that the fathers and the mothers can go into the training. It's not for you to send your children.
Yes, sir.
As though they're the only ones that need this. It is for you to come and ask or look for something to be done with the children so you can study.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That we have set and we're ready for you as it relates to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Grandmaster, now we have this yearly training, and maybe some brothers and sisters are in different cities. Sometimes they may feel you are out of reach. How do they bring you? Because I know you train online as well. And how could they bring you after these international trainings? How can they bring you to their city and implement that same training in their cities? I mean, all of these different states all over the nation.
Yes, sir. And I do travel to many doing this particular training in various areas. So all that needs to happen is for them to communicate. But I would say this: before you start communicating, gather those who have a desire to have that happen, and I will help you to make it happen. But the greatest process is to get the captains involved, meaning connect, let them know that you desire something, and you will help to pull together other people, but get them involved so that we can give you the best opportunity to make it happen. And if you already have the wherewithal to make it happen, all I need is for you to communicate with my office.
Yes, sir.
All right, so in other words, we need to take everything up the chain. Go up the chain of command. Yes, sir. Absolutely, brother.
But that's all.
The reason for going up the chain is so that you can have the best opportunity to make it successful.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
You know, yes.
All that information is on the website.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everything is not in terms of that, but we can always talk about it, because what I do is I help those who do it to be successful.
Mhm.
I got you.
It is for that to happen.
Yes, sir.
They must be successful, or we're just not going to waste your time. We want to help you be successful in this.
Absolutely.
Are we going to have any special guests show up to the national training this year?
Oh, there's always some special guests, but it won't be real special if I talk about it.
You tell no secrets, brother.
Well, praise be to Allah.
Tell the secrets, brother.
I've covered what I needed to cover. Any other questions, Brother Ahmed?
Man,
Man, we got a million questions. What you talking about?
Go ahead, brother. Run it.
he set the tone, though. He said the tone is set. The tone is set, brothers and sisters. The international training is there for us. It is for our help, for our assistance, for us and our families. So let us take advantage of what we have, and not take it for granted. And we appreciate your sacrifice, Brother Captain, you and your family. You too, Brother Calvin, as you work with our brother to make it successful, to be exemplars, and that's what it is. We have to demonstrate what it is we teach, man. And we thank you all for demonstrating, what we have in our Nation of Islam. We the best. The fruit is the best, man. I don't care what nobody say. The fruit is the best, man. And y'all keep pushing.
Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Go ahead, brother.
Brother Grandmaster, I would like you to have the honors of giving us our final words, the last one to speak. But Brother Jekyll, was that your final word?
That's my final words, man. I'm good.
With a little butter. He put a little butter on that too.
Yeah, because inshallah we'll be there. Me and my family will be there, brother. Inshallah, we'll be there.
Praise be to Allah.
We're going to eat.
Yes, sir.
We're going to eat, brother. Yes, sir.
Brother Kevin, final words.
This was a class for me in learning. And what I can say is that, there was a study that was done at Harvard, and you all may have heard about it. It was placing the frog in the coffee pot. Mm-hmm. And, they noticed that if they warmed the water up, if the water was hot and they placed the frog in the coffee pot, it would jump right out. But if they put the frog in the coffee pot and they slowly warmed it, the frog really wouldn't detect the temperature rising, and it would boil right in that water because it was gradually being turned up. And I use that as an example is because the international training stays in sync with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in the sense of we strive to listen to what he is guiding us to do, and we try to make that applicable for training. There has been a lot taking place over the past 4 to 5 years, and we have experienced things, and I don't know if we know what we've experienced, but we have experienced things to bear witness to the time that we are in that has changed drastically. I mean, who knew there would be a time that we couldn't go to the mosque? We've experienced moments within the past few years when you went to the grocery store and there was no food.
Right.
We experienced times within the past few years where the police departments were given instructions only to respond to crisis situations, and in some scenarios they weren't even responding to that.
Right.
And we look at the weather. And so what I want to urge everybody to do is not to be like that frog that sat in the water and didn't detect the gradual rising of the temperature. That's what the minister is doing. He's letting us know, he's setting the temperature, letting us know what the time is so that we don't get caught. And what Grandmaster, what he's trying to do with the national training and what he has been able to do is to ensure to keep us in step with the time, to give us the training, because we've been taught it's going to be a time that you're going to pick up 911 and they won't respond. And we've seen instances of that already happening. Right. We've been taught that there's going to be a time where you're not going to be able to communicate with anyone. And so these are skills that are being trained at the international training. And don't wait until, it's too hot now. And now you're looking for the skill. We've been literally getting the skill for over 28 years. So don't take the time for granted, and don't look at this as, I don't know if I can afford to go or not. You really cannot afford to miss it. Yes, and so I want to encourage everybody to do what you got to do to be in Chicago, July 28th through the 30th.
Sensei Kevin, brother, that was good, brother.
Yes.
I mean, you maybe had to be a student minister, Kevin. How about that?
That's right.
I'm going to turn my camera off, brother.
Yes,
sir. Brother Ahmed, final words.
Oh, man. I mean, man, there's so much to say. Thank you all for watching, but thank you, brother Grandmaster, brother Calvin, for all the work you've been doing all these years. And it's a blessing that you're around to uphold the basics. And it's so much. I don't know if everybody even tapped into what you said about walking down the street in the crowd. My father always would say that. He wasn't a big teacher, but some things he focused on. And he would always tell us, if you see a crowd, cross the street. But it's just to say that those basics, because when we walk down the street and we seen the crowd, and we would see it from 2 blocks away, we was aware. So when we saw the crowd, it didn't take nothing from us to cross that street, because we knew what we was prepared for. And that just giving us that, we walked across the street. It didn't take nothing from us. But we also knew that if that crowd crossed the street, they was in trouble.
That's right. That's right.
Because we come in peace. But you come over here, now you got to deal with us and the God. So, and we was confident with that. But just that little thing you said, I don't know if everybody picked up on that, but what Brother Calvin was saying, and what you were saying about just learning the basics could keep you out of so much. Everything is not all this high thinking and high. The basics can keep you alive. And we thank you for giving us that, and continue giving us that, with all your dedication. So please keep continuing to push, and we're going to continue to back you and support you and spread this word as much as we can.
Awesome.
Beautiful, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I always enjoy having the two of you on the show. It's been a long time since I last saw you, Grandmaster. It's always good to hear you and talk to you. Always good energy. So approachable when when I'm in your presence. That's something I don't get much from somebody that's on the level you are. I don't think we've had the chance to meet, Brother Kevin. I look forward to that day we get a chance to meet, brother. I have a question, brother Grandmaster. Have you ever received a bow tie from the Jock Brothers as a gift?
I did.
He did, brother. We personally hand delivered that one.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, brother Kevin, man, we got to.
Yeah, we
definitely going to honor you with a bow tie from the Jock Brothers.
Yeah, we definitely going to take care, brother Calvin.
Brother, like I said, I if you all just send me a clip, a box with the Jock Brothers on it, I'd be happy.
No, we got you, brother.
We got you, brother.
We got
Well, those are my final words, brother. So with no further ado, final words from the Grand Master. Take it away, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I do want to just go back to lifting, my brother, and he was my lieutenant, being in Brooklyn and from Brooklyn, Lieutenant Richard 8X. I hold him in great high esteem. He was a strong leader. He was a strong helper for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Strong helper. I mean, had one of the strongest borough, in the Brooklyn, in the New York area. So he was a giant. And I remember when I first made 16 at the mosque, I had asked him, I said, Brother Lieutenant Richard, I said, now I'm just made 16, just FOI bound. And I told him, I said, if there's anything that I can do, I would like to do it. And he made me a junior lieutenant on the spot. He said, I've been waiting on you, and I've been waiting on you. He said, good, you're a junior lieutenant now, right? So, of course, it was something that was just to lift me as a youth, and I was honored, and I am honored and humbled, and I love him tremendously. My whole family does, because it was just that kind of brother. And and when we began and we came into leadership in New York and whatnot, anytime he was around, I would never leave him standing outside, or I'm ushering him inside to show him that I honored him all the way through the days that that he was around with us. So I just wanted to just mention that, because he was a great person in my time and in my growth in the Nation of Islam. And lastly, I would just like to say that don't wait for somebody else to tell you that I'm going for you to go.
Come on now.
That's right.
Set yourself up. It's so much better when you make the decision and you let somebody else know, I'm going. What about you?
Yeah.
Come on and make the decision to go before you wait until the last minute, so that now everything is just out of whack, meaning the flights are this and everything. So now you put yourself in a position not to make it. And sometimes that's what we want to do. So now is the time for you to go after making sure that you are present. Get some other brothers and or sisters to room with you, so that you can make it as easy as possible. Don't lock yourself into saying you can't make it because something is too expensive for you. But no, we've been taught to pool our resources, to come together in unity, and in unity, we make everything easier. By Allah's grace. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. If not, I'm definitely looking forward to coming on the show and just letting you know how good everything was. And I can't wait to do that to those people come, so we can help them out. All right. So may Allah bless us. Get yourself registered right now. Go to www.the, that's THE, V is in victory, S is in Sam, K is in kite, Viet Jiu-Jitsu, JIUJITSU.com. Come on, let's get it together right now, and let's then start talking about what it's gonna look like. We ain't even going to the entertainment.
Oh,
We-
right.
but we're not gonna go into everything. We gotta make you enjoy. Again, there's some entertainment for you as well. So I'll see you there. Thank you, brothers,
Thank
for
you, sir.
all that you do and what you open the door for us to talk to our people. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime, brother. Thank you, Jock Nation. You know what we do. We keep it Messiah here.
That's right.
Yeah.